I just found out my parents' divorce was because of my mom's affair. I recently learned that my parents' marriage fell apart because my mom was having an affair with her boss. I'm so angry and lost right now. My biological parents divorced 10 years ago. Back then, my mom told me it was because some people just don't get along forever. I was only 9 and didn't really grasp what was happening. I'd never been particularly close to my dad, so I didn't feel upset at the time. A few weeks later, he moved out, and a new man started coming over often. My siblings and I were introduced to him as Mom's friend from work. He kept visiting, and a year later, Mom announced we were moving to another city to live with him. Even then, I didn't really care or pay attention to anything beyond my own little world. Sometimes my siblings would visit our dad on weekends. I hated those trips. I had no friends there, and his place felt uncomfortable. I remember a few times seeing him get emotional when my stepdad or our old life came up. It didn't affect me. If anything, it made me want to leave faster. Another year passed, and Mom and my stepdad sat us down to say they were getting married. Again, I felt nothing. I wasn't close to him, but I didn't dislike him either. We moved again, and I saw even less of my dad. Years went by. I graduated high school, and nothing really changed. I didn't have strong feelings about either man, just my mom, who I felt truly understood me. But at some point, I developed this intense fear of cheating. I know it sounds obvious, but I couldn't wrap my head around how someone could do that to another person, or how I'd survive it if it happened to me. I'd bring it up with Mom, trying to understand why it terrified me more than it seemed to scare my friends. She'd brush it off, saying I spent too much time on my phone, which felt weird, because what did that have to do with anything? So, I can't forgive my mom's affair, or the man who destroyed our family. For months, I was consumed by this fear, and it changed how I saw everything. Though I'd never questioned it before, I started digging for answers about why our family ended up this way. My mom and I used to talk about anything, but whenever I brought up anything even remotely related, she'd go cold and distant. Eventually, it was obvious I'd hit a nerve. I messaged relatives, spent hours Googling signs of infidelity, even pulled up my mom's marriage and divorce records to cross-check dates. Armed with enough suspicion, I went to my dad, someone I'd slowly reconnected with after he moved to the same city a few years ago. One day, I flat out asked him for his side of the story. Reluctantly, he told me he'd caught my mom lying, disappearing constantly. Once, he even found a text she'd clearly meant for someone else. When he confronted her and begged for counseling, she refused. That was the end. I'd told him I wanted the truth, but I wasn't ready. The image of my mom shattered instantly. For 2 months, I barely spoke to her or my stepdad. My birthday came and went without celebration. I was furious but paralyzed, until finally, I took her to lunch and spilled everything. My suspicions, my hurt. Just looked at me with pity. It's been 6 months now. I've mostly mended things with my mom, but I still won't speak to him. Here's the kicker. 5 years ago, he cheated on her. Their marriage almost ended, and I'd secretly prayed for it ever since I found out. But now, just as my resentment hits its peak, their relationship is healing, stronger than ever. I can't stand it. I don't want to be home. Seeing his face makes me want to hurt him. Watching them act lovey-dovey makes me want to scream. I don't want my mom unhappy, But I don't understand. How could she move forward with him? How am I supposed to share a house with the man who wrecked one marriage and nearly destroyed another? Does he get to just be happy? I've never held a grudge like this. Before, I felt nothing toward him. Now, I hate him so much it keeps me up at night. All my memories feel tainted now. I refuse to be around if my stepdad's there, and of course, my mom always chooses him over me. Logically, I know it's stupid to care this much about someone else's relationship. It's none of my business. But this broke me. If he's still in her life when I move out, I might never confide in her again,